What's the password?
Bibble wibble.
You're in.
Live from a secret location this week in Manchester, it's Hidden in Plain Sight with your host, Matt Hallsworth.
Hello, we come to you live today from the city of Manchester, ready to rip up the city, expose the secrets and find out what's hidden in plain sight. My producer told me to wear something that screams Manchester. Didn't quite have time for that, so I ended up picking up the first items I found on the ground outside. Not quite sure why 5 people have tried to beat me up on my way here already, but luckily I made it to the bar on one piece. Coming up on the show today, we pull back the curtain on Connect Music. That's a secretive and rising DJ group in Manchester at the heart of the underground music scene. Somehow, the team here have managed to turn their nights out into a job. I wish I could do that. And we'll be showcasing the top 4 bars in Manchester, aka an excuse to get paid for being drunk. And we also head to Fat Pat's. No, that's not a nickname for my auntie. It's an exquisite sandwich shop in town that just talking about makes my mouth water. And joining us in the studio is our live pop-up band. I'll be honest, I've had a listen to them and I don't think band and these guys should appear in the same dimension, let alone sentence. Apparently, they'll be playing us an iconic Manchester song a little bit later on. Now, if you want to get in touch with the show today, pop us a message on @HiddenInPlainSight Salford on Instagram, or use #H.I.P.S or #HipsManny on any of your favourite social media, and let us know what you think of the stuff we reveal today. But first, each week we bring in a citywide expert to talk me through our chosen location, and this week our guest is like no other. Please welcome to the bar, Mr. Robert Scott-Fleming. Rob, thanks for coming.
Oh, pleasure to be here.
Now, you look awfully familiar. Weren't you our expert on Edinburgh, Rob?
Yeah, I get around.
And I've heard that's not just in the studio. So, how long have you lived in Manchester for then, Rob?
It's really starting to feel like a lifetime.
Well, you should be an expert then, because I'm a complete newbie to this city. So, what sort of things can you see in Manchester then, Rob?
So, Manchester has one of the most sort of vibrant, up-and-coming art scenes in the country. So if you take a walk through Deansgate, you can go to Tony Wilson Place. That's partly an homage to the Hacienda founder. It's also got a great independent cinema theatre there. You've also got the Lowry in Salford. That's a good conference centre, gallery, the biggest stage in the UK outside of London. It's also a very diverse, multicultural place, so it can be a good place to try new things, especially new cuisines.
So you mentioned cuisines there. Where do you like to go then, Rob?
I'm a fan of Bundobust Brewery. That's an Indian vegetarian fusion place near the centre of town. I'm a vegan with a nut allergy, so that suits me well. No, so I really couldn't stick with just boiled potatoes, which is English cuisine.
Where else do you like to go for a little bit of food then?
So you go to Rusholme, you've got the Curry Mile. There are a lot of different communities there, a lot of which are strictly vegetarian.
Oh, nice. So
that caters well for me. Yeah, it's great.
Right, it's funny you should mention food, Rob, as Issy is currently live outside Fat Pat's. That's a rather exclusive eatery and a staple of the Manchester community. Issy, how's it going?
Oh, hi, Matt. I'm doing really well, thank you. Now, you might be wondering why we're stood in a dark and dingy alley on a Thursday afternoon. Well, in fact, we are at the home of the Manchester connoisseur, sandwich connoisseur, Fat Pat's. Now, Fat Pat's has recently become infamous for their incredible range of sandwiches, but it's only 3 on the menu. Now, you might think that's a bit limited, but I'd just like to show you the one I've got. This is a Philly steak sandwich. It's the highlight of my week by far. They have an eclectic range on the 3, ranging from chicken, oh it's too good, I'm enjoying it too much, steak, chicken, vegetarian for the vegetarians and vegans. Now, it's very much hidden in plain sight. You might not notice it if you were walking down the street, but actually through TikTok and Instagram it's become a viral sensation. You can see behind me some people queuing to get their fat pats. We might try and talk to them in a minute, but if you think you need a bit of a spice in your life, you should definitely head to Fat Pats. Oh, they're too excited. They're going straight in for their Fat Pat sandwich. Do you want one, Matt? I'll see what we can sort out, because, you know, they're just so good. Best meal of the week, best meal of the year. I don't know what more you could ask for in a sandwich. It epitomises taste. It is gorgeous. If you need this in your life, which you do, it's in this alleyway off the main street near St. Peter's Square. Right, well, I'm going to put this sandwich down now so I can enjoy it in a minute. But guess what? Matthew Hallsworth, we have a sandwich coming your way, and I don't want to tell you which one it is, but it's the same as mine, and it is banging. It is exactly what you need on a Thursday. Right, I'm going to chuck you it. Do you think you can catch it? I don't know if you're very good at catching, but we're going to soon find out. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Oh,
nice.
Thanks, Izzy. This looks incredible. I don't have enough to share with you, Rob, I'm afraid. I'm going to have to save it for later.
It's fine, I need to lose weight anyway.
Right, Rob, we've already had food on our little day out. What, or rather where, can people go to next in Manchester?
Well, I'd say stay on your feet, take a wander, say what you like about the politics, but gentrification has made the northern quarter a whole lot prettier.
Oh, right, OK.
Yeah, so check out, I'd say, venues there. You know, I love the Night and Day Cafe, really bright, really vibrant. The Pier Hat, if you like a bit more of a punk spirit, they're both great sort of entertainment spaces, and they're less mainstream than the ones I mentioned earlier.
So, gigs then? Are you talking about gig venues there in Manchester?
Yeah, I like a gig. Manchester's good for it.
So, I want to know, what is your favourite gig that you've ever been to in Manchester?
Oh, that would have to be Dick and Dom's drum and bass set at the Bread Shed.
Are you a raver then, Rob?
No, I'm more commonly known as a drag.
Well, the rave scene is actually quite huge in this city, I've heard. And we've actually been talking to Connect Music. That's a DJ group in the heart of the city about their music. And we promise no drugs were taken in the making of this film.
I'm Theo Edgerton.
I'm Zach Curtis.
We're both DJs and we own Connect Music, which is an underground event series in Manchester showcasing local talent, student DJs and hopefully in the future some big headliners.
Obviously we've both got a big passion for house music. We met in 2021 at the start of uni.
Like it was literally the first night out we were going on.
Just clicked. So we started Connect Music in 2023 and we had our first event in April. Just had our second instalment, sold out, a really good night. We currently play at Joshua Brooks, so we've got a residency on a Thursday night for Discotheque Manchester.
Well, we're both Manchester lads, aren't we?
Yeah, he's from Bolton, I'm from Sale.
Yeah, Manchester's full of like sick venues. Like we could have smaller, more intimate events at clubs and then could go on to bigger venues.
I'd say our favourite rave venue in Manchester's got to be XLR.
It's so like, when you go in it's so basic, like it's low ceilings, proper like small box room, and then the decks are just like, it's like a square like that. And
Yeah. We've got a Function 1 sound system and it's just unbelievable. Sounds so crisp.
You could literally walk past in the street and like you wouldn't even realise it's
100%.
there. People in Fallowfield know it's there.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
As like a venue, if you came to Manchester the first time, you'd probably never even
have
heard
no
of it.
idea.
And then obviously we've got so much more coming up as well. It's not even just based in Manchester now, like we're going to Preston, and also we've got a thing in Leeds as well.
Massive. Can't wait.
Manchester's rave community there. Coming up later on, we have our secret studio band performing a classic Mancunian song to close the show. And we've been hiding clues throughout the show so far as to who they might be. Any guesses on the track they might play, Rob?
You Will Never Walk Alone?
I don't think that's quite classic Mancunian, but we'll see. Now, you've been getting in touch on our social media, which, by the way, is at Hidden in Plain Sight Salford on Instagram. We've got Callum Paxton getting in touch. He says, absolutely love your suit, Matt. Does anyone know how to block someone on Instagram? We've also got my mum has got in touch asking, when are you going to be home for tea? 7 p.m. sharp, don't worry. And we've also got Rob Scott-Fleming in touch. Rob, why have you messaged in? You're on the show.
I slept in, I wasn't sure I'd make it, but it's moot now.
And you thought I was the right person to talk to you about?
I'd rather you get shouted at than me.
Right, thanks. Now, after you've filled up on a nice, tasty Fat Pat and taken a trip over to some of Manchester's incredible DJ sets, you might want somewhere a bit quieter and even a bit more discreet. Well, Joe Grant is here to talk more about our top 4 secret bars that you might want to stick your head into.
Speakeasies originated in the USA when alcohol was banned. If alcohol was banned in this country, the place would be empty. So I'm going to be showing you some of the best speakeasy bars in Manchester. This is the Wash House, a laundrette where you're not going to be leaving very clean. To get in, you've got to agree to do a load, and the rest is history. Give this one a spin. Now, I'm at Alden Street and I'm at behind closed doors. Now, I'm not going to give too much of the secret away, but the place is plastered in vintage erotica. So if you fancy a little flirt, you can use the phone systems to talk to other people. Some of you probably are going to be running here more than others, but it's not a bit me. Yeah, hi mate, you got your usual table please? Yeah, for Joe, thanks. Cheers, yeah. Now, if you miss the shop, Blockbuster's NQ might be the place for you. They don't offer a streaming service, but they'll get you steaming service. And it's opposite from behind closed doors, so if you fancy a bar crawl, you can just come across the road. Stuck behind jail bars, or do you fancy a bar in a jail? If you're looking for more of like an immersive experience for you and your mates, you can come in, you've got to sneak your own alcohol, they'll make you a cocktail based on the alcohol you bring in, you can bring your favourite stuff. You know, it could keep your spirits high.
Cut. Right, Joe talks about this at every bar now.
No,
We're
I
going
know.
to have to cut this segment. The
No,
jokes
but-
just
no,
aren't
but-
funny.
no, but-
The jokes just aren't funny.
Thanks for that, Joe. Now, Rob, you look like you absolutely love a good night out. Have you tried
yes.
any of those bars before?
Well, I would like to assure everybody in the room and everybody watching at home that I've never set foot in behind closed doors.
But Rob, have you tried to get in?
Can we move on, please?
Well, I've heard he's on Joe Grant's weekly reservation. So, other than those 4 bars, where is your highlight? Where do you like to go?
Well, sticking with hidden in plain sight, my favourite pub in the city, it's easy to miss on Oxford Road. It's called The Temple. It's a refurbished Victorian toilet.
Oh.
So now punk themed, very small, intimate. It's hard not to strike up conversations with strangers. It's got the best jukebox in the city.
So the motto of stranger danger just goes out the window when you're at the Temple.
As soon as I've had maybe a half pint. Yeah.
Now, I've heard that you were there on Valentine's Day, Rob.
Yes, I went alone on Valentine's Day because there was nothing good on the TV.
Right, well, maybe we'll find you someone next time. We've covered food, we've covered music. Despite the accent, you really are an expert, so thank you so much for your time as our Manchester expert.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Now, if you think Manchester has a blue-red rivalry, just wait until we get to Liverpool next week, where Rob will probably be our expert again. Now, you can message us your thoughts or places you would like to see us visit on @HiddenInPlainSight Salford on Instagram, or use #H.I.P.S or #HIPSManny on any of your favourite social media. That's just about all we can cram into this week. But before we go, we must have our live band play us out. Now, what you forget is that this is Hidden in Plain Sight. The band has been hidden in plain sight the entire time. We'll see you next week.